Why, hello there. Godrick the Grafted is the first Shardbearer boss that many of us face, but how well do you know his story? Did you know that Godrick the Grafted is not Godfrey's kid? And did you know that he is not even the first of his kin to practice grafting? And do you know why they grafted to begin with? If you didn't know the answer to any of these questions, or if you want all of Godrick's lore summarized for you, you found the right video. Let's get into it. Godrick the Grafted is the last in the Golden lineage, a distant descendant of the first Elden Lord Godfrey and God Queen Marika the Eternal. Now that is a lot to live up to, but man does he go about it in the worst way possible, and absolutely no one likes him to an almost comical degree.
Honestly, Godrick's nothing more than a jumped-up country bumpkin.
Godfrey and Marika had 3 kids from what we know: Godwyn the Golden and the twin omens Morgott and Mohg. Godrick is most likely from Godwyn's line through Godfrey the Grafted, the predecessor to the Suckitude that Godrick would inherit. We don't learn a whole lot about Godfrey and how far removed he was from Godfrey, but what we do learn is very telling. According to the ancient dragon knight Kristoff Ashes, after the defense of Leyndell, Kristoff earned the hero's honor of Erdtree Burial for the feat of capturing Godfrey the Grafted. This isn't explicitly stated, but it would make sense to me that Godfrey attacked Leyndell as part of the Shattering War. After the Elden Ring shattered, the demigods inherited Great Runes and then began a war called the Shattering, vying for power to become the next Elden Lord. So Godfrey besieged Leyndell, which I think we see here, believing that as a Shardbearer and part of the Golden lineage, he should be Elden Lord. However, this attack failed and he was captured by the ancient dragon knight Kristoff and was sealed away in the Golden lineage Evergale we find near Leyndell in the game. So how does this play into Godricks Suckitude? Well, as we can see, Godfrey also grafted and bears the title Godfrey the Grafted. It is unknown if he was the first of the Golden lineage to do this abominable practice, but the bigger question is, why? For beating Godfrey in the Golden lineage Evergale, we get the Godfrey icon, which says, Godfrey was a ferocious warrior. When he vowed to become a lord, he took the beast regent Sirach upon his back to suppress the ceaseless lust for battle that raged within. Could it be that Godfrey and then later Godrick, following in Godfrey's many footsteps, have grafted themselves as a means of imitating the powerful Godfrey with Sirach upon his back? It's not stated, but I think it's very possible. Even if that isn't exactly their motivation, it is clear that both Godfrey and Godrick wish to be powerful like Godfrey. Godrick's remembrance states a feeble man sought power through the grotesque act of grafting. His dialogue during the boss fight reinforces this, where he asks his forefathers to bear witness, and if you're killed during phase 2 of the fight, his dialogue upon defeating you asks,
Great Godfrey, didst thou witness?
And his ultimate motivation is to return to Leyndell, the capital, with the Golden lineage. As he states, one day we'll return together to our home bathed in rays of gold. But Godrick sucks. We aren't told the reason, but that Godrick was hounded from Leyndell, the royal capital, as described by the Mimic's Veil item description. I think it makes sense that this would be during the Shattering War after inheriting the Great Rune of the Golden lineage from Godfrey. And the way in which he escaped Leyndell is documented. The Mimic's Veil mentioned a moment ago says it was one of the multitude of treasures Godrick took with him. The Mimic's Veil, also known as Marika's Mischief, casts a glamour that makes the user appear as a nearby object. Kenneth Height of Limgrave explains,
First, he hid himself amongst the womenfolk to flee the capital, then hid from Radahn in that castle. Then he insulted Malenia, lost to her in battle, only to lick her boots rather than die like a man. Has he no shame, the big girl's blouse?
So it seems that Godrick hid himself amongst a defenseless group of women, disguised as one himself, in order to flee the capital. And as Kenneth Height explained, he fled to Stormvale and hid from General Radahn, who was on campaign to become Elden Lord. But apparently he wasn't satisfied with the ire of Radahn and as Kenneth said, he insulted Melania, who at this time was moving south through Liurnia and would ultimately end up in Aeonia fighting Radahn. Melania beat Godrick's ass, and as the sword monument in West Limgrave states, Godrick the Golden, humiliated, having tasted defeat by the blade of Miquella, now on his knees begging for mercy. After all of this, he spent his time ensnaring Tarnished for grafting for himself, as well as his grafted scions, who seemed to be as close to children as Godrick had. So yeah, Godrick is the worst. He's a country bumpkin unfit to be a lord according to Kenneth Haight, the runt of the litter of shardbearers according to Enya the Finger Reader, and then his own remembrance engraved into the Erd Tree describes him as a feeble man. The golden lineage of Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, had a lot to live up to even following Godfrey's tarnishing. Unlike Godfrey, they were feeble and they turned to grafting as a means to become powerful. But when the Shattering was started, their golden lineage and power from grafting were not enough. Even with all of those hands, he was unable to hold on to any respect passed down from Godfrey, let alone grasp the title of Elden Lord. Thanks for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you want more Elden Ring lore. And thanks to Drew Kohler and everyone else listed on the screen right now for your support on Patreon.